say that often. I think they did with the last game I tried to play. Although there will be videos of that at some point soon, hopefully. I just have to do some cutting and stuff. But this game looks weirder. So I don't know at all what to expect with this. I got it for $11 on special on Steam, 30% off. I guess. I have no idea. I'm not going to try and do voices for this game because I'm pretty sure almost all of the characters are female. So I just cannot do that. But day 1, a powerful demon descends. Well, that's not a... Hey, Nene, where are you? Change the output of this. Now it's in my head. How's this? We've been searching ages. Razor's right. Must have been wandering around the house for at least an hour. Where in the world have you gone? This isn't fun anymore. Come out, please. Nene? Sissy? Nene? Such a pain. Looking for my good-for-nothing little sister for what seems like an eternity, but I still haven't seen hide nor hear of her. Climbed every inch of my grandparents' garden, but I've been in and out of every single room 3 whole times, no avail. No idea where she could be. It's getting ridiculous. My stomach's growling, I'd like to conclude this game of hide and seek, so I can whip something up for lunch. Can't make sound lunch, however, if Nene refuses to come out. The cover is limited, but and it's not like Nene is small enough to wriggle into the more inconspicuous hidey holes like Razor can. She's already 13. I can't wonder whether Nene's in the house at all. Maybe she closed this game so she can slip away, on the slide, look around the village. I can't see why Nene would want to go to the village, though. My grandparents live out in the boonies. There's only a couple of shops in the immediate vicinity. There isn't much to do out here beyond going for walks and looking for interesting shapes and birds. I'm bored out of my skull for the last few days. At least I'm not bored right now, while my little sister annoyed instead. Sissy, where are you? Sissy. No scratch that, not just annoyed, I'm also getting sweaty. My shirt is sticking to my back and my face is flushed with perspiration. Rose. That Nene. We're in the basement. Check basement. I stalk out of the kitchen, which is just as Nene-less as it was the last time I checked, and I hang about grumpily in the hallway. When I see her, I'm going to give her a piece of my mind. Are you going to shout at her, big bro? It's a definite possibility. Geez, if Nene really has snuck off to explore the village, I'll be pissed. She was the one who laid out the rules for this little game, since she was the one who proposed it. She said we had to stay in the house and the garden. My darling little sister wouldn't go back on her word, would she? No, Nene, like I do. Yeah, she totally would. No, big bro. Razor grins to him on my shirt, his brown eyes wide with worry. Don't get mad at Sissy, please. I don't like it when you shout. We're supposed to be having fun. We're on holiday. Razor's right. Shouldn't be letting a silly game get to me. I do wish that Nene would make this a little easier on us, but since when has she ever made things easy? This might have been an idiot to expect anything else. You're right, I'm sorry, Razor. I won't shout at Nene when we find her, even if it takes us another hour. You have my word. Do you mean it? Sure, I don't want to spoil your holiday. We are meant to be having fun. Because the whole point of hide and seek is to hide. That's right, this is hiding like she said she would. She's really good at this game. A little too good if you ask me. But whatever, I'm sure we'll find her eventually. Just keep looking. Right, let's do our best. Yay. I've seen my search from Nene, my baby brother in tow. I've already scoped out the kitchen, so I guess the living room would be a logical port of call. Quite like the music. I've scoured every inch of the living room already, which you never know, and then I'm switching over hiding places to avoid being caught. My sister's not the brightest bulb in the box, her grades are abysmal, actually, but she can be pretty devious. My search of the living room, however, doesn't unearth anything particularly illuminating. One of my sisters is sitting there, flipping through the channels on my grandparents' ancient TV set, but it's the wrong one. This particular sister of mine is called Chiharu, and she's about as un-Nene-like as it's possible to be. Nene is 13 years old. She's an inexhaustible bundle of energy. Chiharu, meanwhile, is significantly more stoic. Chiharu is pretty close to me in age, being 18. I'm 1 year older, and she's incredibly fashion conscious. She spends ages straightening her hair every morning, which seems a bit of a waste, since it looks plenty straight to me already. Sure, she's also very particular when it comes to applying her makeup. Chiharu has a wardrobe full of fancy, expensive clothes back at home, in cute shades of beige and pale peach and baby blue. Chiharu's taste might tend towards the soft and the sweet, but the woman behind these clothes, she doesn't like being called a girl, is anything but. It's not that Chiharu is mean-spirited, per se, but, well, she's not the sort of big sister who'd ever join in with a familial game of hide and seek. She thinks she's too mature for such infantile pursuits. If Nene's been in here, I figured Chiharu would have told me already, but never hurts to check. Hey, Chiharu, have you seen Nene around? Chiharu shakes her head, her eyes are trained on the TV screen. She doesn't even spare me a sideways glance. How cold? Do you know where she might be? Do you have any ideas? Jeez. The third time really must be the charm, because it's finally gets Chiharu to look at me. She frowns in this arch, aloof way that says, No, Taiki, I don't know where that stupid sister of ours is. How many times do I have to tell you? Now leave me alone, shoot. I've got better things to do with my time than talk to you. Better things, like watching an old rerun of... I glance at the TV. I think I recognize those actors. Series used to be pretty popular once upon a time. Our mother was fond of it, despite it being a sappy melodrama aimed at teenagers. Love Under the Shining Stars. That's Love Under the Starry Sky, actually. Huh, well, what do you know? I almost got it right. Good for you, do you want a prize? Nah, at this point I'd settle for finding Nene so I can make a start on lunch. Good luck, you'll probably need it. Chiharu turns back to the TV and the rerun of Love Under the Shining Stars. Sorry, Starry Sky. Well, that was a waste of time. With no new leads to work with, I leave the living room, Reza trailing along behind me like a lost puppy. I do another scan of the house, but I still can't find Nene. Defeated, I head out to the veranda. Once there, I take a seat and examine my grandparents' sprawling garden. Probably in the basement summoning a demon. Reza sits down beside me, his legs swishing back and forth like metronomes. The sky's bright blue, daubed with only a few wispy white clouds. It's a pretty day, I guess. But the agitation over this endless game of hide and seek, coupled with how hungry I am, is making it hard to appreciate the beauties of the natural world. Don't like to admit defeat, but I'm stumped. What's Nene playing at? Where could she be? I was annoyed at Nene in the beginning, but now I'm starting to worry. I've explored every nook and cranny of my grandparents' place, but I'm still turning up a blank. Went everywhere, except for Grandpa's study. Grandpa's study is a no-go zone for everybody but Grandpa himself. Grandpa's always been pretty strict on that, for as long as I can remember. Ever since my parents took me to stay with my old folks over the summer. When Chiharu and I were little kids, before Nene and Reza were born, Grandpa once took us to one side and told us to keep out of there. Didn't he now? I don't like telling you children where you can and can't go, but I have a lot of expensive old books in there that cost me a fortune. I've had to do a lot of traveling to get my hands on all of those tomes and an awful lot of haggling. Why my collection could rival the Library of Alexandria back on a Tay Day. Now you need to promise me you'll be good and keep away from there, do you understand? I'm not saying this for the sake of it, I'm being serious. You can go anywhere in the house you want, but my study is off limits. My grandpa's a jovial, jokey kind of guy, so hearing him sound so serious made a pretty big impression on me. I've never been in the study before, and I have no idea what's inside there. Lying if I said I wasn't curious, couldn't help but wonder, as a kid, what treasures might have been stashed away in there. But I've always had too much respect for him to break my word. I promised that I would leave the study alone, I swore on it. Nene made the same promise a few years later, when she was still a little kid. But Nene's always been enticed by the unknown. Grandpa keeps the door of his study locked 24/7, but I wouldn't put it past Nene to try and jimmy the door open with a hairpin. There's a lot of things I wouldn't put past my younger sister. She's awfully audacious. Is she now? Could that really be it? That snake. Where's the snake? No, that's not what I meant. I was talking about Nene. She's the snake. She is? She does make strange hissing sounds sometimes, but I don't think she has any scales. She isn't very slippery either. I think it's eels that are slippery, not snakes. Not that it matters. Don't mean it literally. What I'm trying to say is that rotten little sister of ours has tricked us. The more I think about it, the more convincing my hypothesis feels. It'd be just like Nene to break into our grandpa's study. Surprised it didn't occur to me sooner. That idiot. I mutter this under my breath. I'm unsure whether the insult is directed towards me or my little sister. Can't believe it let this happen? How could I have been so stupid? Well, this is nothing for it but to drag her out of there, preferably before she makes a mess out of Grandpa's expensive books. Please don't let me be too late. Too late for what? What's up, big bro? Nothing too serious. At least I hope it's not. Now you stay here, alright? I'll be back before you know it. Naomi should be back with me. You know who she is? I have a pretty good idea. And when I see her, I really might have to shout at her. That stupid sister of ours deserves it. Does she now? I was really, sincerely hoping that Nene wouldn't be in our grandpa's study. Didn't want to believe that my younger sister would disregard our grandpa's wishes so flagrantly. But alas, that would be asking for too much. You always find your ways to disappoint me, Nene, you dummy. The door of the study, which is usually locked, opens easily beneath my grasping fingertips without any resistance. Nene must have jimmied the lock after all. At this point, the evidence is irrefutable. Since she went to the effort of shutting the door behind her, I had no idea she'd come inside here. Until now, at least. It was clever of her to hide her evil plan, but now I've cottoned on to it. I'm not going to let her off the hook. Nana, I know you're in here. Come out right this instant. Ends? My indignant remarks trail away, however, once I get a good look at the inside of Grandpa's study. Almost every available surface is filled with bookcases, tall, towering constructions which stretch to the ceiling. These bookcases are, of course, filled to the brim with books. There's so many of them, looking at them is making my head spin. How long will it take to read all of these? No idea. There's a desk pressed against the back of the room, which is heaped with even more books, an ancient typewriter, a few candles, and what seems to be a human skull. Is that genuine? You know what? I don't want to know the answer. My grandpa's study does have windows, but the curtains have been drawn. They're pretty thick curtains at that, which blot out most of the sunlight. Something decidedly arcane about all this, occult-like even. The human skull on Grandpa's desk, I sure hope it's not a real skull, hides my mounting sense of unease. Also, my grandpa has some pretty weird hobbies after all. It's incredibly freaky, so much so it takes a few moments for Nene's misdemeanors to register. When I finally come to my senses, however, I realized that my earlier supposition was right on the money. My youngest little sister has, indeed, been squirreled away in Grandpa's study this last half hour, summoning a frickin' demon! Brother! And she's engaged in some truly bizarre behavior. Nene has drawn something that looks suspiciously like a pentacle on the tatami floor with dark ink. On each point of the pentacle is a candle, which I suppose Nene must have liberated from Grandpa's shelves. These candles are all lit, and they flicker ominously in the dark. She drew that on Bo's floor! Is she not trying to hide the fact she's been in here? Nene's holding on to one of Grandpa's books in one hand, but she isn't looking at it. Instead, her eyes are focused on me. Takey, what art thou doing here? Nene tends to talk like she comes from a different century, though I don't know why. I think she's just looking for attention. I could very well ask you the same question. What are you doing here? You know you're not supposed to come in here, and what's with that weird shape on the floor? Didn't draw that, did you? Sissy. Razor must have been telling me. Didn't I tell him to stay in the garden? Appears at my side, his eyes wide with alarm. What's going on? Why is it so dark in here? It's spooky. Razor, what is the meaning of this? Dost thou not know that Grandfather's study is out of bounds? Says you. If you know that, then what are you doing here? Still haven't answered that question. Well, that is... Razor and I were searching for you for ages. Didn't you stop to think about how we felt? We were worried, Sissy. I was really scared. Will you come with us? This place is creepy. You shouldn't be here. Grandpa will be mad if he finds out about this. I'm trying to think that our grandpa might really be mad, not in the angry sense. All the weird stuff he's collected is giving me the heebie-jeebies. I always thought that Grandpa was a nice, normal old man whose greatest eccentricity in life was his inexplicable love for fishing. No idea he was into all this hocus-pocus nonsense. What our grandfather does not know shall not hurt him. This Dark One did nothing wrong, therefore this Dark One fearless no remorse. What is that weird shape on the floor then? Didn't you draw that? Perhaps this Dark One didst. No, there's no perhaps about it. I can see the ink on your fingers. You're going to get that book dirty. But this Dark One was only following an outline long before provided, faint though it was, upon this very floor. Grandfather himself must have drawn the shape in the past. This Dark One meant only to replicate what he himself had done prior. When Grandpa drew that strange symbol, Razor hugs his stuffed bunny. Flopsy, close to his chest, his brown eyes full of concern. I don't believe it. This is too weird. Grandpa's always been so nice. This is very weird, yeah, but there's no need for us to stand around talking about it. We need to wipe that weird shape off the floor before Grandpa sees it. We need to put these candles away, too. And for that book, meanwhile, I had the grimoire that Nene is holding. We need to put it back somewhere, we need to put it back where it belongs. Give it to me. This Dark One sees not why she should acquiesce to your demands when thou art being so very rude. The powers bestowed upon me by the Dark Lord, I could dissolve your bones into slime whereas thou stand. Ith. Yeah, I haven't heard that one before. This Dark One was most excited, however, when she ventured into the study and discovered these wonderful books, all of them devoted to the subject of the arcane. I was certain that within these shelves there wouldst be a tome replete with ancient knowledge, which I couldst use to shore up mine own magic, but woe's me. I have pursued through many of these books and attempted many rituals, yet they all hath ended in failure. Nothing hath happened. This Dark One has not been able to summon so much as a salamander, let alone a denizen from another realm. Oh, is that what you're trying to do? That's not. Did you really think that you could summon a demon? This Dark One had nursed some hopes, yes, but these grimoires must be defective. Grandfather's collection is impressive indeed, but I fear he has spent a large sum of money on forgeries and fakes. These books are all broken. They do not contain so much as a speck of magic. Oh, duh, but it doesn't exist, not outside the realm of those silly fantasy stories you like so much. Now, give me that book, it doesn't work, like you say, so there's no point in clinging to it. Alright. Then sighs defeatedly. She gets to her feet, then hands the grimoire over to me without further complaint. I guess Nanny must be feeling pretty let down, despite all of her grandstanding. Really though, what was she expecting? Of course, none of the spells in these ancient books worked. Why would they? No way demons are real, and if they are, I doubt they'd let themselves be summoned so easily. That's what I've always thought, at least, but maybe a tiny curiosity, but I've never held a demonic grimoire before. This book has some real heft to it, it certainly feels like the real deal. I don't know who wrote this book, or why they wrote it, but they must have been pretty serious about all of this mumbo-jumbo. Really have written a lot. I crack open the book, then glance through it. The page I settle upon is yellowed, but it's not so badly discoloured that I can't read it. Well, I would be able to read it if the text was in Japanese. I'm certain I've never seen this particular writing system before. It's clearly not Japanese, and I don't think it's English either. But something about it looks familiar. It almost feels like this book's calling out to me. I know this is ridiculous, of course, but the same. Nene's candles begin to gutter out, one after the other. I shouldn't be able to understand any of this text. How can I, when I don't even know what language is written in? But the words seem to rearrange themselves before my eyes. With dry lips and a dry throat I inhale. Then I begin to read. Let's see, what does it say? I read quietly, my voice little more than a whisper, embarrassed by my own impressionability. I often scold Nene for her fancies, but now I'm being even sillier than she is. Nothing special about this book, I'm just interested in it because it's so unusual. I know that I should put it to one side now, then make a start clearing away these candles and cleaning up that odd shape. I know that, but bro, are you alright? Taiki, what is it? Thou hast been standing there like a statue for the last minute. Thou dost not have a fever, does thee? Does thee? For some reason I can't move. Like a man possessed, I continue to read from the book in my hands. I read on and on till... Dost thou not think it feels very cold in here all of a sudden? But right, it is pretty chilly. What couldst be the meaning behind this sudden change in temperature? This Dark One doth not understand, but perhaps mine intuition was not wrong after all. I fear that book must have enthralled our hopeless older brother. Feels like invisible hands are sliding down the collar of my shirt. All the warmth is drained from my body, my fingers are frozen, clenched around my grandpa's time so tightly like claws. The candles lighting the study begin to flicker, and then... poof. What? They sputter out entirely, plunging the room into perfect darkness. Oh great, that's not at all disturbing. I thought Grandpa's fascination with the occult was nothing more than the indulgence of an old man, but this is beyond all of my expectations. Guess there's still a rational explanation for this. Fluctuations in the temperature are normal, but then the candles could have got it out on their own. This all seems a little too perfect. What are the odds that a string of unlikely phenomena would occur right after reading a passage from this creepy old book? Something's definitely up. I can feel it. Why once to use such an obvious cliche in my bones. Grandpa's study isn't just cold now, not anymore, it's downright glacial. Christ. Translucent tendrils of fog begin to unravel themselves from about the bases of the bookshelves, and geez, it's not only out of season, it's also highly unusual. Surely it shouldn't be foggy indoors. It shouldn't be windy inside either, come to think of it. Well, grandparents' house is pretty old. There's no way my sleeve should be flapping around like this. Something screwy is going on here. Grandpa's study was already dark, even with the lights on. But now, what with all the fog, it's getting hard to see a foot in front of my face. I turn about this way and that, eyes wide, but I feel trapped. It's like I'm lost in a hazy void. I think this is all pretty freaky, TBH, but knowing Nene, oh bitch, she's loving every second of it. TBH. Cue the cheery exclamations in 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness, this is truly incredible! This Dark One has no earthly clue what's occurring, but this feels like something from a manga! This Dark One has been waiting for this day for ages, but now it's finally come. I'm going to be the protagonist of my very own supernatural adventure. Yeah, I figured, now that the initial shock's worn off, Nene started babbling incoherently. I doubt you'll be the protagonist of this story, dummy. I'm the one who read from the book, not you. Details, details. I am the one who found the book, do not forget. Thou canst not ignore my role in all this, my dear older brother. Oh, I won't. I'll make sure you regret this, Nene. That is, if we get out of this situation alive. I want to be optimistic, but I'm too much of a realist, even in a blatantly unrealistic situation like this, to hold out too much hope. I don't know what's going on, but the world at large doesn't seem too happy with all of my supernatural meddling. Ever brought some ancient curse down upon us? Temperature continues to plummet, to such a degree I wouldn't be surprised if ice crystals began to form upon my eyelashes. Then... a demon in a skimpy outfit? Oh boy. Screamers. My breath, or what little remains of it, leaves my lungs in a shocked gasp. I can't see. I didn't close the curtain. Now I can see a bit better. There in the fog I can see somebody, but it isn't Nene or Reza. I can see the vague, shadowy outline of what I take to be a person. They don't look like an ordinary person. I see two strange appendages protruding from the top of their head, which look an awful lot like horns. From their back, meanwhile, beats a pair of bad-shaped wings, and from their rear I can see... a tail? Damn, this isn't good. Have I really made a contract with a demon? Oh my gosh, this is so cool! Nene doesn't seem to have any problems with all of this, but she lives in a fantasy world most of the time anyway. I guess her sense of reality is less clear-cut than most people's, less clearly defined too. As such, she has no idea how to appropriately react to bizarre situations like this, which wouldn't, in my opinion, be, this is so cool, but what in the world's going on? Nene has a lot to learn about her appropriate behavior, but I guess I'll cut her some slack, she's only 13. Shit, she's only 13, she's just a little kid. What will I do if this creature tries to hurt her? What about Reza? Since I'm the oldest out of all of us, I should try to protect them, but I have no idea how to do that. What's the best way to deal with a demon? I should probably start by asking their name, just be polite, but my throat's so dry I can't get any words out. Damn it, this is bad, what am I supposed to do? Only half an hour ago I had no idea demons even existed. I thought they were all magic and make-believe. I know otherwise now, but I wish I didn't. Ignorance really is bliss. I begin, but I'm soon cut off, fortunately, by a voice, which is much gentler than I was expecting. You, human boy, who trembles before me, I've got a question to ask you. Yes, what is it? The demon's eyes seem to penetrate the fog, they're bright red, just like rubies. Hello. Slowly the mist clears, I can see the demon in more detail now. They have pale skin, pink hair, and, wait, a very sizable a very sizable chest. The demon girl is pretty slender and rather short, so the chest of hers looks even more incongruous. Doesn't help or hurt, depending on your perspective, that she's wearing such a skimpy outfit either. Well, I figured our supernatural guest would look unusual, being a demon and all, but this goes beyond my wildest expectations. I guess even if she does kill me, I can die happy after getting an eye full of somebody so pretty. Really though, I'm starting to wonder, are all demons this busty? The music's changed so drastically from what it was before. I don't know much about demons, I've never met any before, but now I'm really starting to wonder. Human boy? The demon girl speaks again in a soft, sweet tone, and geez, I probably shouldn't be gawping at her boobs, even if she has demons in another world. It's just bad manners. It is bad manners, bro. Must ask this of you, are you my summoner? The demon girl looks at me, I look back at her. Her eyes red are so intense, it feels like they're looking right through me. Finally I can breathe again. I open my mouth, meaning to answer her, but... Taiki, what in the world is going on? What are you doing in Grandpa's study, and why did you take Reza with you? You know we're not supposed to come in here. You'll be in big trouble when he finds... Wait, what? Chiharu stares at the demon girl, then her face blanches. What in the world is this? Oh, that's a very good question. I just wish I knew the answer. Oh my god, bro. When Taiki's little sister tries to summon a demon, Taiki's summer vacation takes an unexpected turn. Is this the opening? Yeah, it looks like it. We'll sit through it. Elizabeth might be a demon who comes from hell. She's a lot sweeter than Taiki ever expected. But Taiki's looking at the group closer. Can a human and a demon really be together? Who the fuck knows? Oh boy. That was creepy. Some of these CGs look kind of creepy, and some of them look suggestive as fuck. Yep. Exactly. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened, and I guess that brings us to the present. Really now, that is quite the tale. I say I never thought that anything like this would come to pass. I think I'm getting too old for this magical malarkey now. I'm a quarter of my grandpa's age, and I think I'm too old for all this nonsense too. On the match, it sounds pretty wild, but this girl is obviously real. I did summon her, though how I'm not quite sure. She really is a demon. Either that, or her wings and tail are incredibly convincing. If they look real, that's because they are. I'm definitely a demon. If you don't believe me, I can make my tail twitch. Just look, hee hee. The demon girl's tail switches back and forth as she speaks, which makes my grandma gasp. Oh, bee! Isn't this intriguing? Intriguing is one word for it, I guess. Personally, I'd go for a pain in the ass, but, well, I guess that's more than a single word. Jeez. My grandparents look pretty bemused by this whole affair, and I can't say I blame them. I'd be bemused too if after coming back from a meeting at the village hall, I was confronted by a literal demon sitting all innocent-like in the very traditional tatami-floored living room. My grandpa in particular doesn't seem to know where to rest his eyes. He's been staring in the vicinity of our new demon friend, for the last 10 minutes during my explanation, all while trying, what I can gather, not to incorporate her chest. Why is the old man if my grandpa's having issues, the demon girl's scanty attire, he's not the only one. I'm not sure where to look myself. Maybe it's easier not to look at her at all. Let me read though. I'm not sure what the proper etiquette is when dealing with demons. I've never met one before. Like I was surprised, but this isn't exactly a common occurrence. I still have no idea how this happened, but since it has happened, I guess we'll be stuck with the strange girl for a little while. I'm sorry that I went into your study, Grandpa. I really am very, very sorry for the inconvenience. I never wanted things to turn out this way. What? Then go past and says, why are you calling me strange? There's nothing strange about me at all. Where I come from, demons are a dime a dozen. You're the one who looks strange to me. I do have a name, you know. It's Elizabeth, and you're too well to remember that. I can't believe you'd introduced me to your grandparents without asking me what I'm called first. Yeah, that's my bad. I've had a lot on my mind, though. Like, you barging into the house uninvited. It's been a huge production. Well, I'm very sorry, Taiki, for being a bother. Elizabeth, why does she have such a fancy European name? It's going to be annoying to remember. Scowls. I didn't mean to barge in here, though. You invited me. I wouldn't be sitting here if you hadn't summoned me. I didn't mean to summon you. This was all a huge misunderstanding. You didn't? No, I didn't. How could I set out to summon you when I didn't know up until half an hour ago that demons exist at all? Now, I need my temple with my fingertips. I can feel a headache coming on. Sorry to drag you all the way out here, Elizabeth, but I don't know if you can stay here for very long. This is my house, as my grandparents is, and they have their hands full looking after my siblings already. There's not really enough room for you to stay, and you're a stranger. Since we're ascertained this was all an accident, would you mind going back to where you came from? What? Elizabeth's face bulged. She's a bit of a shame. She is rather pretty. I shouldn't get hung up on that. But she's a succubus. I don't want to wind up in her thrall. But I don't want to go back. No? I figured that Elizabeth would be jumping for joy at the chance to return to her home, but she betrays my expectations. She looks utterly devastated. I've wanted to come to the human realm for a long, long time, ever since my mother told me stories about it. We demons can't cross the rift to the human realm on our own, so we need to rely on the magic of mages to anchor us. There are so few mages nowadays in the modern era, however, I was worried this would never come to pass. Now that I'm finally here, it really does feel like a dream come true. My reception has been less than warm, it's true, but even if I'm a nuisance, I don't want to go home right away. I want to stay here. Talk about curveball. Elizabeth staring at me, her eyes all wide and imploring, like a frickin' puppy. I'm starting to feel guilty for scolding her. Part of me is beginning to wonder whether I shouldn't let her crash here after all, but that isn't up to me to decide. This isn't, like I said, my house. That's how you feel, and I'm sorry for getting your hopes up, but I really don't think this will work. My grandparents are getting on in years, and I don't know if they'll be able to look after you. It isn't feasible, and it's not fair either. They're busy enough as it is, so... Now, Taiki, I appreciate your consideration, but you've not let me speak about this matter just yet. I might be old, but I'm not so very old that I can't make my own decisions, especially about the guests, so I am to have stayed in my own home. But Grandpa, surely you can't mean to let the strange girl. That's Elizabeth! Elizabeth, stay here, she's a total stranger. She might be to you, perhaps, but tell me, young lady, is your mother also a demon? Of course she is. I live in the demon realm with her, and with my father too. My mother is very well respected, actually. I don't mean to boast, but Elizabeth puffs her chest out proudly. She's immensely powerful, even among us demons. Her magical abilities out of the rest of our people to shame. People are always coming to her for advice. There isn't anything she can't help with. No problem is too big or too small. My mother really is the best. So Elizabeth is a mommy's girl, is she? It weren't known. She's kind of childish, her appearance aside. You'll not catch me waxing on all poetical about my own mother, not at my age. It's kind of awkward. But like Elizabeth's twitching tail, part of me does find it strangely adorable. For a demon, Elizabeth seems awfully earnest. Maybe she's not a bad person after all. Might be a shot in the dark, but your mother wouldn't happen to be called Cadenza, would she? Oh yes, that is my mother's name, but how did you know that? I'd be pretty interested in hearing that too. What's going on, Grandpa? Oh, well, it's a bit of a complicated story, but I can try to paint in broad strokes. You see, I was once on good terms with Cadenza, and though I haven't spoken to her in many years, I'd like to think they were on good terms even now. We parted amicably enough, and I've nothing but the highest regard for her. To explain things properly, however, I suppose I'll start at the beginning. I'm sure you saw earlier, Taiki, when you went into my study, that I have a lot of rare books. Yeah, I did. You have quite the collection. Sorry, I saw all of that, though. I know your study's supposed to be in bounds. No, it's alright. I might have told you to keep out of my study when you were younger, and your sister and your brother too, but that was because I was concerned about my books. I was worried you might damage them inadvertently, of course. I know you well, Taiki, my boy, and I know you're not at all malicious. You never damage any of my books on purpose, neither would she, Haru, or Reza. When it comes to Nana, however, you're less certain about her. She can be rather rambunctious, yes, though I know she doesn't mean any ill by it. She just gets excited when she sees shiny new things. I don't really fault her for being curious, though. Nothing wrong with having a healthy interest in the world. It only works when it stays healthy, though. I mumble this under my breath when my grandma speaks up cheerfully. Personally, I think Nene must take after you in that regard, dear. You've always been obsessive when it comes to your research, particularly in matters of the arcane. Indeed, that is a quality Nene must have inherited from my side of the family. I wonder about that. Nene did inherit her obsession with the supernatural from my grandpa. That track, given his peculiar tastes. Nene sure as heck didn't inherit her fashion sense from it, though, or her way of speaking. All of these eccentricities, I think, came from playing too many silly mobile games. In any case, none of my books were damaged, so I don't mind much that she went into my study. You must have noticed, though, that all my books were about the occult. Yeah, it did seem that way. All those leather-bound tomes gave me a start, sure, and so did the dripping wax candles on the table and skull-shaped decanter. My grandpa's study looked so much like your stereotypical witch's abode, it really threw me for a loop. I still haven't gotten over that particular plot twist. Well, I'll let you in on a secret, Taiki. I don't much want to discuss this. It all seems awfully eccentric, but I suppose I'm old enough now that I can afford a few foibles. The cat is well and truly out of the bag, so my grandpa leads his fingertips pressed together. I'm something of a dilettante when it comes to the topic of demonology. It's an area of study I've been interested in since I was a young boy, younger even than you are, Taiki. I started collecting books from my collection shortly after my 18th birthday, and over the years my collection has only continued to grow. I've travelled all around the world, to China, to Malaysia, to Europe, on the hunt for rare tomes to add to my library. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My interest in the demon realm was initially piqued by a single tome I found when I was little more than a lad. I know I didn't interested in demons then. I did not even think they existed until I found that book buried in the back of the second-hand bookshop. The time was aged, its pages brittle and yellow, and it seemed at a glance most unassuming. Despite all of that, however, I was drawn to it. I found this book many years ago, but I can still remember how it made me feel. I felt as though it was crying out to me. I was quite powerless to resist it. I urged to pry that book from the case which held it, and the moment I touched it, I knew. Oh, the things I knew! I felt like all of my life's mysteries were unraveling before my very eyes. I now believe that the book wanted me to have it. It would have called out to me otherwise. I purchased this book at once, of course, for a paltry sum, price worth far less than its contents deserved. I swiftly took it back home. I was panting with excitement until the wild Taiki, my boy, as I held this tome, for I knew within its pages lay my destiny. I took that book up to my bedroom, fearing for all the world as though I was committing a crime, and opened it. I pored over the book's discoloured pages, and soon I discovered it was full of rituals, all of them strange and arcane. I was excited. I could not control myself. I knew there was no time to lose, so I hastened to conduct one of the rituals which inscribed within that book. Grandfather leans back, smiling all the while. Suppose you can guess what happened next. Right. I can tell my grandfather's going with the story, fantastical though it sounds, but I still feel obliged to ask the question which has been weighing on my mind. They both found their shop. Wouldn't happen to be the same when I used to summon Elizabeth, would it? That would seem to be the case, yes. It was when I was perusing the pages of the book, after all, and reciting the ritualistic words written upon those pages, they summoned Cadenza. Since it occurred over 50 years prior, but it irrevocably altered the course of my life. It was from that moment on that I learned demons do, in fact, exist, and that our world is not as mundane as most people think. Cadenza taught me many things. I'd like to think that I, in turn, gave her much to think upon. She enriched my life for the handful of months that we were together, and though it has been a long time since I last spoke to her, I've not forgotten her. Not a coincidence, though. I think that there's a young woman sitting before us now, with her haunted her tail, looks so much like Cadenza. And from the very moment I saw her, she must have been one of Cadenza's relations. This must be a work of divine providence. I've come to realize over the years there are no coincidences in this world. Every encounter is an act of fate, as too is this, is it? Now let me welcome you once more. Truly it's a pleasure to meet you, Elizabeth. I'm proud to make your acquaintance. Pleased to meet you too, it's an honor. Wow, I guess I'm pleased too, but seriously, it's quite a wild story, Grandpa. Is it just? My grandpa chuckles. I'm feeling utterly baffled by all this, but he looks perfectly in his element. His eyes are shining, just like the naughty schoolboys, when he's played a successful prank on his teacher. Don't know if I've ever seen my grandpa in such high spirits before. I was afraid he'd have a heart attack upon meeting Elizabeth, not the least because of her outfit, but I was way off the mark. He's taking this even better than I did. But my grandma, though. My grandpa's story has opened up a few questions, namely, did you know about all this, Grandma? Well, of course I did. Cadenza and I were very well acquainted. You were? At this point, I probably shouldn't be surprised, but I still can't suppress the disbelief. What in the world's going on here? All my family members in on this whole demon summoning thing? My grandpa's always been a bit eccentric, so maybe I can accept he'd be into mysticism or what have you. But my grandma's always seemed like such a nice, kind, decidedly normal lady. She wears her hair in a bun, she dresses in demure kimonos, and she spends most of her days brewing tea and knitting, for goodness sake. You couldn't find a more stereotypical, kindly grandma figure anywhere, not outside the pages of fairy tales, I mean. So when did she become bosom buddies with the demons? Since 50 years ago, I guess, when my grandma introduced her to Cadenza. How could I not know Cadenza? Everybody in the village did. This is a small place after all, and talk soon spread. Shunsuke told the other villagers Cadenza was a relative of his, but he confided the truth in me. They've known one another since we were children, and I suppose he felt like he could trust me. The two of us have always been the most responsible one. I'd like to think I'm good at keeping secrets too. Shunsuke introduced Cadenza to me shortly after he'd summoned her. He told me that she was a demon, and that she wanted us to show her around the village, see some of the sights. Cadenza had never been to Japan before, and she was very intrigued by her culture and her customs. As fond as she was of Shunsuke, I think she wanted a female friend too, one she could speak to about more emotional matters. She was excited to be in Japan, of course, but she did get homesick during her stay. Homesick? My mother did? Oh yes, Cadenza tried to act strong, but she was quite the sensitive soul. That's why she took such shine to Makiko here. Elizabeth's brow furrows, which in a sense is almost reassuring. Nice to know I'm not the only one who's feeling lost. Doesn't sound very much like my mother. I've never really thought of her as being sensitive. She's so confident and headstrong, not at all like me. I always wished I could be more like her, in fact. I can't imagine her ever being shy or awkward. Maybe she changed after giving birth to you, dear. Being a parent can have a big impact upon a person's nature. We have to come into our own, also I find, once we've another young life that's dependent upon us for survival. Cadenza was quite the wallflower when I met her, but this was more than 50 years ago. She was still a young girl herself then, about the same age as you are now. Well, how old is she? She must have been 18. Knowing demons and how they age, like, Elizabeth here could be like 800. Maybe 19. I don't just turned 18 myself. I believe Cadenza was a year or two older than me. Try to keep track of things like that, like ages, when it comes to demons. Time does flow differently, after all, in the human realm than it does here. Does it now? How very convenient. I was just pondering the practicalities of my grandpa's claims to myself. If he had met Elizabeth's mother more than 50 years ago, Elizabeth's mother should be of an age with my grandparents, old and wrinkly. Elizabeth's clearly young herself, though, which doesn't really track. Timelines don't add up. The time flows differently in the demon realm, though. This discrepancy can be explained. How old is your mother, Elizabeth? What? Elizabeth pouts. It's rude to ask late age, Taiki. Didn't your own mother teach you better than that? Oh, well, I guess that's true, but your mother isn't here now. Besides, I'm not asking out of any nefarious purposes. I'm just trying to figure out how all this works. Right now, things aren't fitting together too well. Oh, it isn't that complicated, really, isn't it now? Because I've learned demons do in fact exist. Nothing's all that complicated, really. It's like your grandfather said, time goes differently in the demon realm. It passes more slowly. 50 years might have passed between my mother's initial summoning to the human realm from her perspective, but it's only been 20 or so to ours. My mother just turned 40. She doesn't look as old and wrinkly as your grandparents. No offense meant. None taken, dear. Her skin is still very smooth and she doesn't have any grey hairs. She has a lot of heads, even now. There's always fussing that one of her many suitors or sweep her off her feet. Oh yes, I can believe that. Caninta was quite the looker even back then, although she had not the confidence to properly carry herself. She was such a retiring thing, though she was an awful sweetheart too. Because of Caninta's influence, as a matter of fact, that my relationship with Shunsuke deepened as it did. It was. Yes, indeed. I'd always been fond of Shunsuke, but it felt too awkward to commence to him. I was worried it might ruin our friendship, for we had been close, since we were young. Didn't want to risk making things awkward between us, and I thought Shunsuke was a man who would have told me something already if he gave me. Bullshit. I think like men do it less. This must sound awfully old-fashioned, but back then it was the custom for men to act fit. Well, that's bullshit too. It was indeed, but I was so immersed in my research I failed to notice your feelings. It was awful thoughtless of me, giving you hopes only to dash them. I should wonder why you were so fond of a selfish, single-minded boy such as myself. And myself, from time to time. I suppose it was our passion. It was your passion that drew me to you, that and your determination. Didn't hear it either. I suppose that you were so very handsome. Were. My grandpa raised an eyebrow at this use of the past tense, though knowing my grandpa, I don't think he's actually annoyed. He was just kidding around. You're saying I'm not handsome anymore, my dear Makiko? Oh no, you are, incredibly so. You're handsome in a different way, however, than you were. Now, I consider your looks distinguished, but back then there was something very intense about you. You looked just like an actor. I told Cadenza about my feelings, and she gave me the courage to confess. She told me, and quite rightly so, I think, that if I continued to wait for Shunsuke to make the first move, I would be disappointed. I still remember what she said to me, in fact. Told me that it was obvious that I cared for Shunsuke, but it was not obvious to him. She said, and I quote, if you want him to know how you feel, you have to tell him. He's so very dense, he'll never understand otherwise. Dense, am I? That hurts. Yes, you are, dear. About as dense as a brick. Even you must know that. I was self-conscious about telling you how I felt, but Cadenza gave me the push I needed. If it wasn't for her prompting, I don't suppose the two of us would be together now, Shunsuke, and you wouldn't be sitting with us either, Taiki. I wouldn't have married, and I wouldn't have had children. And I certainly wouldn't have had any grandchildren. Cadenza might be a demon, but she bestowed upon me a great blessing. I'll forever be in her debt. She truly was, and still is, I presume, a wonderful woman. Just when I thought I couldn't be hit by any more revelations, my grandma's come out with yet another bombshell. My existence, or so it seems, is inexorably linked to Elizabeth, or to be more precise, her mother. If Cadenza hadn't given my grandma the advice she had, I wouldn't exist, or Chihiro, or Naino, or Reza for that matter. Our births were facilitated by a piece of advice given by a demon 50 years prior, who was summoned to Japan after my grandpa found an ancient grimoire in a second-hand bookshop. Ew, now I'm starting to get the chills. This is what they call the butterfly effect. I had no idea the world was so very tenuous. It's going to take me a while to get to come to terms with all this. Given our past history with your mother, Elizabeth, and that we owe her, I would be more than happy if you wanted to stay here. You'll always be welcome with us. And Will, is that really alright? Of course it is, it would be my pleasure. Hear, hear! I know we're still strangers, Elizabeth, but you're like family to us. Yes, indeed, there must be a reason why of all the demons Taiki could have summoned, you were the one he called forth. I think this was fated to be. It must be destiny. This is the Lord's way of letting me repay Cadenza at long last for the great favour she bestowed upon us. Couldn't dream of sending you away. Couldn't you now? I sigh. All I wanted was a nice normal summer vacation. So this humble dream of mine has been, well, truly shot to pieces. I doubt I'll get any rest with Elizabeth around. Guess this is my fault, in part, for being stupid enough to summon a demon in the first place, but jeez. I had no idea what I was getting myself in for. If I could go back in time, I'd wrench that stupid book out of Nene's hands and slot it back on the shelf where it belongs. But it's too late for regrets now. I'm at this bed, and I've got to lie on it. Hooray for me. Not. What a day. I sat on the veranda of my grandparents' home, flapping the bottom of my shirt restlessly to better ventilate my sweaty skin. The hour's starting to wear on, but it's still pretty light out, given it's the middle of August. I think the sun will set for another couple of hours. My grandpa's already making the start on dinner. I feel like I ought to get off my ass and help her since she's had a busy day. Not like anybody else can volunteer. I'm probably, no, definitely, the best cook when it comes to my siblings. Chihiro never bothered learning how. She's worried she'll chip her fingernails. And though Nene is pretty enthusiastic, she has a tendency to emulate everything. Razor, meanwhile, is only a kid who can't really be trusted with a kitchen knife. I've been helping my mother prepare our meals since I was Nene's age, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I'm sure cooking like a chore, but something to be enjoyed. It's pretty fun seeing a meal come together, and I even enjoy the repetitiveness of peeling potatoes and carrots. It's soothing. Can't say I care for cutting onions all that much, but then again, does anybody? Maybe masochists? I don't think I fall into that camp, though. I'm kind of bad, leaving my grandma to cook for all 6 of us. Well, he's 7 now, factoring in Elizabeth, but I'm too tired to move. Various means have really taken it out of me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that demons exist, and that I inadvertently summoned one. Chiharu, Nene, and Reza already seem to have come to terms with things. Nene and Reza more enthusiastically than Chiharu. This really is insane. What will I do if Elizabeth tries to steal my soul? Do I have any guarantees that she won't? Elizabeth doesn't seem like a soul-stealing sort, but you never can tell when it comes to demons. The word demon doesn't imply all that much confidence. Think of fleshing monsters with sharp-pointed teeth. Elizabeth might look like a cute girl, plus a few extra adornments, but I don't know enough about her to trust her. My grandparents were seeming enough, but I feel a little less okay, about the whole situation. I cannot pronounce that. It's easy for my grandma to laugh about this. He's not the one who summoned her. His fate isn't entwined with Elizabeth's. Mine is. What does she want from me exactly? Does she want anything other than to enjoy herself? I wonder. I'm pondering this, staring aimlessly at the edge of a sky, when... Hey, Taiki, guess who? Oh, please, don't insult my intelligence like that, as if I need to guess. This is easy. There you, Elizabeth. That's right, it is me, but doesn't Elizabeth sound too stuffy? Much easier if you called me Elisa. It's a shorter name and it's much cuter. Is it? A smiling Elizabeth takes a seat beside me on the veranda. She doesn't ask me if this is alright, or if it's a bad time, or if I want to chat, but maybe the concept of common courtesy doesn't exist in the demon realm. It doesn't sound very demonic, somehow, having been descended from hell. Is that where demons reside? Minding their P's and Q's. Ah, it's so peaceful out here. Well, it's nice, isn't it? So an actual demon from actual hell? Is she from hell? I'm not wholly sure on that score. Let's talk to me about the weather. Thought you maybe had a more interesting arsenal of topics to talk about, like sacrificing human souls, maybe, or bloodletting, but this is pretty banal. Yawn. Well, can't just stare at her. Got to say something. I guess it's pretty nice, yeah? There's always a sunny in the human realm. I was a member of a normal family. Elizabeth's talk about the human realm might throw me. Since Nene's always gushing about being the dark one, however, I think I can take this into my stride. No, it's not always sunny. It can get pretty cold in the winter. Ah, I see. Elizabeth switches her legs to and fro, her hands resting upon her lap. Well, no, I've never been to the human realm before. This is all very new to me. I must say, though, that I am enjoying it. The sky is so blue and the air smells so sweet. I don't like back home. Yeah? Well, I'm glad to hear it. I rolled back my neck and frowned. Are there more important things to discuss than the weather? We should be having a proper conversation here, damn it. It's important to do research before buying a new pet, like a dog or cat, and I imagine there's even more info to hash out when it comes to summoning demons. I'm sure I've not gotten myself caught up in anything shady. Hey, Elizabeth. I prefer Lisa, like I said, but yes, what is it, Taiki? How does all this work out exactly? Oh, this what? You know, the whole summoning thing. I'm the one who brought you here. Does that make me responsible for you? Yes, I suppose it does. You are my summoner, after all. Yeah, I remember you saying that. Though I wish I didn't. So, what's being the summoner involved? What's my role in our relationship? I tried to keep my voice calm, but my heart still flutters a little at that final word. Never had a relationship with a girl before, beyond my mother and my sisters, though that's not for lack of trying. I asked out a girl I had a crush on back in high school, but I was swiftly rejected. After that, I stopped trying. The sting rejection had too much. Spending time with the opposite sex like this is a mystery to me, and again, my sisters don't count. A relationship? Slightly complicated. You don't need to keep an eye on me 24/7. I'm an adult, and I can look out for myself. You're an adult? I mean, I figured. What with her figure, but it never hurts to ask. How old are you in Earth years, exactly? Let me see. Hard for me to gauge, but I think if I were to convert it, I'd be 21. So she's a little older than me. She's old enough to drink, too. I know it's silly, but for some reason this makes my pride sting. But only for a few moments. I'm not one of those guys who gets super hung up about small details like this. That seems like a pretty poor way to live life. My calculations might be a little off, though. I'm not the best at maths. I am a grown woman, though, no matter how you slice it. Don't need you to look out for me. You can trust me to behave myself. My real duty is replenishing my magical energy. Magical energy? Oh god. Elizabeth nods. Oh, some using your energy, weak though it is. You must have an inherent knack for magic, though you need some training. Because your grandfather must have passed that on to you. The summoning ritual wasn't perfect, though. You're a novice, and your magic, like I said, leaves little to be desired. If you don't top me up, I won't be able to remain tethered to the human realm, and I'll be forced to go back home. I'd like to stay here for a few days at the very least, so I'm counting on you to keep me well fed, Master. Please don't call me Master. Summoner was embarrassing enough, but Master is way too much for right now. I'm about to open up a maid cafe here. Neither am I about to participate in the Holy Grail War. How am I supposed to feed you with my magical energy? I'm guessing making you a sandwich won't do much good? No, I don't mean feeding in a physical sense. Yeah, I thought as much. That'd be too easy. Elizabeth doesn't mean to sup on my life force, does she? What if she wants to drain away my life, my youth, my vitality? Whoa. Elizabeth says that she's a demon, but her skimpy outfit puts me in mind of a succubus. I'm starting to afraid that her designs upon me might be less chaste than her cheery attitude suggests. This isn't a H game, is it? It's not. I think. I'm hoping. I'm pretty sure it's not. No, it's not. Why is demon so far down in the tags? Anyways, I wouldn't exactly be opposed to the idea of letting her drain my mana, so to speak. I mean, she is hot, but I hardly know her. We're still strangers. It's all going a bit too fast. Maybe I should ask for time out. Or an intervention from an adult. I know I'm an adult, but this is straying into a realm of a little too adult for me to deal with. I'm starting to get all flustered when Elizabeth speaks. Whoa, my ears. I just need to siphon off a few of your dreams to remain healthy, that's all. You eat dreams? Yes, or, well... Elizabeth smiles sheepishly. Oh, usually I don't need to when I'm in the demon realm, but it's hard to keep myself manifested in the human world. Most humans don't believe in demons. The weight of this combined disbelief makes it hard to anchor myself in reality. Every single second here I spend is difficult. Given my existence is being continually denied, it's a bit painful, actually. But don't worry, I wasn't... Oh well, maybe I was just a little bit, but it's not like I'm going to admit to that. That would be embarrassing, dummy. Dreams of humans can act as a source of energy for me. They're very nutritious, so they should replenish my stamina. I don't need to eat your dreams to stay healthy, though. Your thoughts will do just as well. They're even more potent, but that might put you in danger. How so? Wouldn't end up an amnesiac, would I? You could, if I took too many of your thoughts from you. You could easily wind up forgetting all your fondest, most memorable moments, and even your very sense of self. I don't want to leave you brain dead. It would be a poor way to repay you for summoning me, so sticking to your dreams sounds like the best option. Would you be alright with that? Well, if it's a choice between that and becoming an empty husk, I don't think I have any other option here. One of these branches will very clearly lead to a bad ending. So I should thank Elizabeth for earmarking that for me. It should save me a lot of suffering. Guess that's fine. You can eat my dreams. Not that they're particularly interesting, though. I never remember them when I wake up. Wonderful. Thank you, Taiki. Oh, don't mention it. It's fine. But I want to mention it. It was very kind of you to summon me here. I always wanted to see the human realm. You're the best. A beaming Elizabeth takes this as an opportunity to throw herself at me. Her arms wind tightly around my middle, so tightly I can hardly breathe, and her chest pushes over my back. Oh boy. I knew Elizabeth's chest was large, but damn, no idea it was this soft. It feels like I'm in heaven. Yeah. This sensation's good, it's dangerously good. I can get addicted to this. Crap. Doesn't Elizabeth know what she's doing to me? She's not spending much time around human men, so I guess she doesn't know how intensely we can feel things, especially when tits are involved. Okay, if this keeps up, I'm so glad I got to meet you, Taiki. Let's be best friends, alright? Let's have lots and lots of fun together. Yeah, sure. We can have fun, but... my voice is starting to break. What am I, a teenager? I mean, yes, I am, but I'm talking 13 here, not frickin' 19, going on 20. I should be better at controlling myself than this. Please don't say misleading lines like that when you're smushing your boobs against my back. What? Is there a problem with what I'm doing? Yeah, there is. There's a pretty big problem, actually. It's going to get even bigger if Elizabeth doesn't learn of the meaning of personal space. But they don't have that back in the demon realm. But it'll do me a hell of a lot of good right now. Of the display of affection. I'm seriously starting to worry that my dreams tonight will be of a salacious bent. then what will Elizabeth think of me? It's really his nightmare. Oh my word. Okay, I'm gonna have to end this video here. How do I save? Save. If I do that, then I can load. Yep. Brilliant. That is going to be the end of this episode of my Lovey-Dovey Demon. I'm very confused. So far, nothing's made sense, but whatever, I guess. Next episode will come out in like 4 days, because I'll be out of the house until later notice, but like until either the 1st or the 2nd of January. So until then, hope you did enjoy this very odd video. I like the writing style, actually. I think it's pretty cool. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.